Attention gamers. I've recently realized that I've made a similar mistake to many insufferable webcam beggars that I would typically make fun of. You see, similar to how Hasana Beach has built an audience of puss boy whiners and now they are whining about him. Or how the resident grifters are getting cancelled by their own audiences of grifters that they've built, or how the drama Andies always find themselves in drama. I too have shaped an audience based off of my content over the years of people who basically hate watch League of Legends and its content to the point where half my comments nowadays are Alcoholics Anonymous sounding stories of how they have quit League cold turkey and are happier people now, which is ironic as they are still watching and commenting on all my videos. Anyways, I want to change that because behind this emotionless satirical voice that low IQ rubbernecking dipshits confuse for AI, is someone who wants League to succeed so we can get back to a point where it's just a never-ending shit fest of clowning on your teammates for doing dumb shiz rather than moaning about everything Riot does, which is why I'm erected in the pantalones when I read about the changes they are making for next season, because in an attempt to speed up the games, they have introduced an unlimited sense of imbalance where one person can snowball in 1v9 a game, where split pushers who can't even properly pronounce the word chilling can flat out win games in unconventional ways. We're back to the game feeling chaotic with tons of items, weird combinations and just utter nonsense, and so today I'm gonna show two different examples of the future of League. First from the perspective of the most plastic-y low moronic cast of characters, and then an example of how players can once again single-handedly take over a game. So sit back, relax, and consider installing Porofessor to help you navigate all the absolute chaos that is coming in the new season. If you are like my commenters who claim to play like 2 games a year, this will always tell you who the busted nuts broken champs are in the current meta. It will summarize the latest changes to champs in your lineup and a ton of live recommendations during champion select on who the best pick would be for any game. It comes with the best rune pages and the ones pros use for your specific matchup that you can import right into your client. During load and screen you can get a full scouting report of the enemy team so that you know to maybe not feed into the one-trick Rengar because bad things will happen. It has summoner spell trackers so you know when to be aggressive, build path recommendations overlaid in game, and a comparison tool in case you are competitive and perform better when being told you are behind others in your rank. The post-game scouting report makes Riot's buggy client look like an Etch-a-Sketch, and everything I listed is completely free with no setup. It's just a simple download, so thank them for the sponsor and try them out today. Alright gentlemen and lady boys, the first game I wanted to test out the return of Storm Razor, which for the children in here who haven't been addicted to this clown fiesta of a game for 10 years is a dank returning item that gives you a piss ton of movement speed on your first auto. I figured it would be the knees of the bees on this counting Dracula because he already gets movement speed when he autos, and even though I queued ADC, Riot wanted to show all their improvements to the autofill system by telling me sit the fuck down and play as a mid laner instead. Luckily I was laning against a wind shitter who was greedier than a kick streamer, and even though you'll soon see why Kale rhymes with fail, it was still an easy cleanup for me. As you can see, I stopped to pick a wedgie mid fight which may or may not have costed me my flash in order to get first blood, and with it we were off. Fast forward a bit and I had this product of incest low and glowing like a rectum in a Crohn's disease medicine commercial, but here is where I would like to show you the moment when I realized I hate my own jungler. Then because I'm a League player, the pure anger towards getting taxed out of own wave clouded my judgment as I chased this helpless fruit ninja enthusiast into a bad decision where I was informed rather violently that their jungler desperately needs to clip his fingernails. That said, you probably have heard the following saying: fool me once, shame on me. Run into my lane twice and think tower diving a full health Jhin with barrier is a good idea. Shame on you, as I hit a pencil neck rooter to stop that frozen turd in his tracks before yelling 4 in his dead ear. Then without that son of a bitch congesting up my lane, I can focus on properly cancelling 3 straight autos, which obviously was the plan to lure this wild windshitter into a fight. He lets me count all the way to 4 and then I zoom out, fire a warning shot and then promptly send him back to his bitch ass base where he belongs. He then files the paperwork for becoming a legal top lane refugee, and I'm just like, bitch, I'm like Liam Neeson, and word on the street is you didn't play nice with my daughter, as I continue to remain on brand by donating my first shot out of respect for the game. And you are probably thinking my gameplay looks quite silver at this time, but let me respond to that with a little bit of this. That's called a well-deserved assist, you cucklords. In the comments, I'll see you down there for some verbal disagreements. Cannot wait. But anyways, we get into a situation where a bunch of visitors are trying to knock down my statue as if it's a P. Diddy memorial or some shit, so I let this Soraka know that shit ain't gonna fly by shooting my W 6 feet behind her. But while the grown-ups are playing talking about taxes and their golf handicap, I'm over here proving exactly why I sit at the motherfucking kids table, and it boils down to being just a tad bit flashier as I pour some purple drank down the throat of that goat. Hey everyone, meet my top laner. We had a small encounter mid where together we thought out a dead mal fight, which was cool and all, but I actually think she's a piece of shit and I'll tell you why. Later on, when I was giving a conjugal visit to the legal top lane refugee because word on the street he wanted to be fucked, and I wasn't going to argue despite me aiming a W at the painter from Expedition 33 mid-fight. Once I completed the homicide, I had a very large wave coming my way. Some may even call it a tsunami until this happened. I then said holy shit you slurp and asked if she's hungry, which is what revealed the stubborn dickhead personality trait that gets unlocked in every league player after about 10 total games. But I'm just like, whoa, maybe let's keep the terrorism comments to a minimum here. But long story short, she got added to the list of players in this game I hate with a burning passion, right next to Kale, and at the end of the day I didn't need either of them because I could bring my own dinner home. Anyways, you are probably wondering how I got to this point where I'm seemingly running away from safety, all in pursuit of killing a little dragon tadpole to show that the Storm Razor speed was enough to speed me up into this Kale's ult range just in time. I guess I'm an asshole. Just kidding, we aren't toxic here. She had a much better use of that plan for a minute later. That said, the perfect summary of how big of a shitfest this game has become was when we breached their base at the end. Man, Bear Pig failed to do shit because MF was more fed than Bonnie Blue on an all-you-can-eat dick diet, so he got bullet washed. Then they came flanking in single file, so I took care of the Disney Kids show character. Then for some unknown reason I slip out the back to rip a few farts, I guess, instead of just ending the game, and then I proceed to show with my ult that I am still learning how to operate a mouse and keyboard. That said, Kale ends up doing a whole lot of nothing with all the gold she stole from my lane all game, while Nail Clippings Charles provides himself as a hard counter to my team, but that's okay because taxing Tina Numero Dos the terrorist does all that she can to put an end to the first game, which was a preview into how disorganized next season is going to be. But then we ought to get into the second. Here I figured I would be a bit cheeky, give the people from 2019 what they want and show off a little AP Ezreal against one of these spinning gingers. She lit me on fire, which was a douchebag move, so I returned the favor, and then in a butt clencher I put her on her ass. This was off to a great start until Rift Alexa got stuck saying one line over and over again. I then get a chance to take down the famous guy who's been getting praised on the intercom all game, but unfortunately my Evelyn has opted into the stand still and do absolutely nothing style of fighting, so there's not much my missed skill shots are going to do in that situation. That said, every time this bitch acts like she dropped her switchblade by accident and then violently goes to pick it up, we are both left worse off, to the point where we are both rocking that bronze level confidence, thinking if we jam our buttons faster than the other person we will win. And the best part of this game is that there's always a loser. Alright, so yeah, game 2 was going to be an example of how a single player can take over a game like the good old times, and if you guessed that player would be my team's Evelyn, then you sure need to get your eyes checked. Then as Rengar was continuing to invert the anuses of every single person on my team, I was left mid against this spin slut who wasn't necessarily a problem, but she was leaving me with a severe case of epididymal hypertension. My ADC was threatening to leave the game in chat, which is on par for the typical mentality of a League of Legends teammate, but I was just focused on this glowing knife sales lady who I wanted to put a ring on and make my lady. Somehow in some way my team had given 13 kills to a single player by the 11-minute mark, which I originally thought, man, maybe I'm in a Tarzan unranked to challenger video, but then I remember that degenerate fuck got banned. I however was not going to be tossing the flag in, as I originally wanted this to be a video on how rock hard AP Ezreal makes the pinky in my pants feel, as you can see by the multiple exhibits attached that with just 1 or 2 items I am rocking some burst with a capital B. This was great and all, until every time I would remember that I had this Evelyn as a teammate who must have missed the fact that there was an overextended Darius who was just on his knees begging to be charmed into a 1v3 right in front of her, so we had to just pretend like that wasn't a good idea to go in there and instead tunnel onto our jungle clear path. Unfortunately, the hypertension in my ball sack was only getting worse, and by 16 minutes not a single person on my team was admitting to being a cat person anymore, so all I can say is buckle up for the new season, because it'll be chaos and one person can hard carry games, which should make for some fun videos next year. Rav out.